Our twin season preview continues on here. In part three, we are talking pitching. My name is Alex Zappa, and I'm breaking down the 5 projected starters that the Twins are going to go with at the start of the season. And if one of those guys happens to miss time or get traded, who could come up next who is already in the Twins system? Without further ado, let's get to it. The opening day starter is Pablo Lopez, signed out of Venezuela way back in the day. He spent 5 years in Miami, and we acquired him with the Luis Arraez trade. Last year, his 180 innings pitched was good for 27th in the MLB. So for a guy who had never pitched over 112 innings in his career, to set that 180 milestone, a great mark to show that he can lead a pitching staff. Last year, also, a 1.16 whip, which is a great number, and he's been sub 1.2 the last 3 years combined. So walks, hits per inning pitched, this guy does not let a lot of people on base. He's entering his age 27 season, and as I mentioned, is projected to be this team's #1 starter. He's got a really strong fastball changeup combination, and if he's not getting strikeouts with the changeup, he's going to go to that cutter down and away, which is really effective against right-handed hitters. And a prediction for Pablo Lopez, he will get back to having a 10+ K per 9 average. Last year, 8.7, which was the first time it had ever dipped below 9 for him, because the 2 years previously, it was 9.3, and before that, 10.1. So Pablo will get back to his strikeout ways. Next, in my opinion, should be Sonny Gray as the team's #2 starter. A 2008 draft pick way back when in the 27th round from the Cubs organization. He's played for the A's, the Yankees, and the Cincinnati Reds. Now he's a Minnesota Twin. Last year, he went 8-5 in 24 starts and had an 8.8 K per 9, which is right around his career average of 8.7. He has 200+ inning pitched seasons, but those are back when he was 24 and 25 years old. He has not achieved that feat since. He is now in his age 33 season, but in the span of those 7 years, he does have 2 campaigns pitching over 150 innings pitched. And last year, he was amazing. 3.08 ERA, 1.12 whip. His career ERA, 3.56, 1.21 as far as his whip is concerned. So a guy who had really a banner year, a top 3 year in Sonny Gray's career. And my prediction for Sonny is just that. With this Twins elite defense behind him, Sonny Gray will continue to be a low 3 ERA pitcher instead of a low 4 to mid 4 ERA pitcher. Sonny Gray, a really good locked in top 2-3 starter on any pitching staff. We're glad to have him on our Minnesota Twins staff. For me, I think our 3rd starter should be Joe Ryan. I think he's going to probably end up being the 4th or 5th guy, but here's why. Last year, 13-8 record, a 1.1 whip, which if he would have qualified, he didn't have enough innings pitched, would have had him 20th best across Major League Baseball. And here's why this man is so effective. His hard hit rate last year as a pitcher was 34%. The MLB average, 38%. Opponent average. His personal one last year, batters hit 211 against Joe Ryan. Across the MLB, it was 243, so 30 points lower. It's why Joe Ryan, who doesn't have elite velocity, is still able to get guys out because his ball moves and his command is absolutely elite. Last year, he had 147 innings pitched, 151 Ks in those innings pitched. In his minor league career, he has a 2.6 ERA and a .86 whip in 229 innings. My point being, Joe Ryan has been a great pitcher anywhere he has pitched in his professional career. We expect that to continue. And my prediction for him, he will have his first sub-3 ERA season ever. You look at that hard hit rate, you look at that opponent average, I think Joe Ryan is going to have a banner year in a Twins jersey this season. #4, I'm going to go with Kenta Maeda, who hails out of Japan. He spent 4 years in the Dodgers organization. And if you can believe it, he's entering his 4th season as a Minnesota Twin. He did sit out all of last year with an arm injury, but in his 6 years pitching across Major League Baseball, he has 3 seasons with an ERA in the 4s, 2 seasons with an ERA in the 3s, and he has 1 season with his ERA in the 2s. He's never, ever been a sub-9 K per 9 player. So every year of his career, he at least strikes out 1 man per inning. A couple numbers for you. When you talk about batting average, Kenta, 226 in his career. The MLB average, 250 over that span. OPS, 637. MLB average, 740. Strikeout percentage, Kenta, 26.5. MLB average, 22.3. Hard hit rate, Kenta, 31%. MLB average, 39%. So like Joe Ryan, a guy that's not going to light up the radar gun, but with his command and the movement on his pitches, someone who has always been effective. And my prediction for Kenta is this. After 18 months not pitching, he's going to return to form, and he's going to be one of the best mid to back end starters on any MLB team this year. Last but not least, it is Tyler Mahle, who was a 7th round pick way back when for the Reds. He spent parts of 6 seasons with Cincinnati. At the deadline last year, came over to the Minnesota Twins organization. He is entering his age 27 season, and he led the MLB with 33 starts back in the 2021 season. So this guy has shown an ability to start games and to stay healthy. He has 2 10-plus K per 9 seasons on his docket as a starter, and he has a sub 1.25 whip average the last 3 years consecutively. Mahle has a very interesting delivery. He throws across his body. He hides the ball really well, which helps his sweeping slider, not to mention a 4-seam fastball that really gets up on hitters. The other thing with Mahle is he's working off the best portion of his career. In the 20 and 21 seasons, he had a sub-4 ERA. Last year, he returned to kind of his ways before with a 4.4. His career ERA is 4.35. So he's shown an ability to tuck it under 4. We didn't see that last year in a Twins uniform, but my prediction is we will see that this year. Again, the Twins defense, pitching at Target Field, this is a guy who's going to put up some career numbers, I have a feeling. The other guys to keep an eye on, and I'm going to run through these guys quick, is Bailey Ober. He's 6'9", 260. He had a 3.21 ERA last year, a 1.05 whip, in 56 inning pitch in Major League Baseball. There might not be a more qualified player that won't start on a pitching staff than Bailey Ober this season. Don't forget about Chris Paddack, who last year had a few starts and then was out with Tommy John surgery. He is expected to be back at some point this year. There could be setbacks, but Chris Paddack at points has been one of the best pitchers in baseball. We haven't seen that for some time, but who knows? Maybe he could return to form. Minnesota native Louis Varland is also in contention. He made 5 starts last year for the Twins organization and had a 3.06 ERA in 126 inning pitched between AA and AAA last year. And in those 126 innings pitched, he had 146 strikeouts. So this is a guy who can get out of jams and strike batters out when he needs to. Simeon Woods Richardson, who we got in the Jose Brios trade, a 2.6 ERA across AA and AAA last year in 107 innings pitched, and he had a 5.9 ERA in 2021. So this is a guy that really turned around his career as a prospect in a single season. Woods Richardson, someone who has been pitching better than ever of late. That will do it for our Twins starting pitching preview, and in my opinion, guys, this is the best pitching staff we've had in maybe a decade. Not to mention the 5 starting pitchers, but the guys who could come up behind them. Lastly, on our Twins season preview, I will touch on 5 prospects who look to make a huge difference on this 2023 Twins team at some point. Look forward to that as we continue on with our Twins. Get ready for opening day preview here on Bally Sports North Digital.